Am I sharing my screen now?
Not yet.
Okay, it'll come.
There will be a delay.
Okay, are you guys able to see?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'll make it in the presentation mode so we can all begin. I am sorry guys, it's really slow. Just hold on. I can't answer you. Yeah, okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
We can.
Okay, good. It's taking a little too longer today, but anyways, let's begin. Okay, so today we're looking at some staircases and stairs, and the focus is going to be on sort of giving you an overview of the sort of fundamental purposes of the staircase, yeah, and the ways in which architects have actually tried to experiment with the idea of a stair. I like this quote very much. This is from Pattern Language. It says a staircase is not just a way of getting from one floor to the other. The stair itself is a space, a volume, a part of the building. And unless this place is made to live, it will be a dead spot and work to disconnect the building and to tear its processes apart. Okay, so in many ways, what Christopher Alexander is urging is to treat the staircase as more than just a vertical circulation. And we are going to see some of the experiments where architects have tried to do that. Okay, so you guys have visited this. This is the Milonas, and Milonas actually has three staircases. One is on the outside where you see the red colored door, which leads you to the main stair that comes from below. And there are two staircases which are inside the building, which are actually in many ways design innovations in RCC construction. I want you guys to look at this staircase, and can somebody tell me where is the center of gravity of this staircase? Where is the CG?
Right at the top. Because it seems like the most.
This center of gravity will be a vertical line that goes down. So where will it be? Right at the top, meaning Shravan, are you suggesting it's somewhere here?
Yeah, somewhere there.
Okay. Okay, I'll show you guys another image. Okay, this is the staircase, right? The entire staircase, it seems, is actually cantilevering out from its center of gravity. Shravan, you're right. The CG is somewhere here at this line where my cursor is moving. Yeah, and the entire staircase actually seems to be cantilevering out, but it seems like it is tied back to these two ends. I'll show you another staircase which is there in the mill owners, and you guys have seen these already. I'm bringing these up because this is what is possible when you have an RCC construction. This is another staircase. How you guys have seen this, right? Just give me a yes or no. So I'm.
Yes.
Yeah, you've seen this staircase. Okay, very good. You know that this staircase does not touch the wall behind, correct? Yeah. The entire staircase actually is like a beam that is supported on two ends. One is on the top over here and the other is at the bottom over here. Yeah, and all the steps actually come out from the parapet, and the parapet, the depth of the parapet is a resultant of the span of the staircase. The span in this case is from this point to this point. So it is actually behaving like a beam. If I look at the section of the staircase, yeah, you can see that this is the total depth of this beam. Yeah, and then the entire staircase actually comes out from this beam, and I've made a diagrammatic sketch over here of how the internal reinforcements actually move and tie back upwards into the parapet, making the parapet a very important structural component of this staircase. Yeah, again, very interesting innovations because of RCC and its abilities to create new kind of structural dynamics. Yeah, we are also going to see a little later how folded staircases, how they are actually made and how the reinforcements in a folded staircase are. Okay, now let's look at another staircase. This is a staircase in a small showroom designed by Carlos Scarpa. Unlike the RCC staircase, which has the components of how the reinforcements are tied, okay, and the entire structure of the staircase works with the form of the staircase. This staircase is like it's built with blocks. So many different blocks are put together in order to construct this stair. Okay. The blocks are of two kinds. One is these, which are marble slabs which are cut, heavy marble slab, and the second are these, which are precast concrete blocks that are at the bottom of this staircase. And if you see, each of these blocks, the marble block has a counterweight at the back and then an extended weight in front. Okay, the entire staircase behaves as though these blocks have been piled together. Yeah, and then you climb up. Another interesting way in which the staircase is imagined and created. Structurally very different. Okay, structurally very different from the earlier one. Okay, here's a third staircase at the Villa Maria by Alvar Aalto. In this image, it appears as though these columns actually have a major structural role to play. But when you look at it carefully, you realize that the real structural loads are actually carried by these stringer beams, which run from slab to landing and landing to the ground over here. And the stairs are actually supported on top of these three stringer beams. Only the railing seems to be supported onto these cylindrical columns that are going up. This is another very interesting way in which the staircase is created. I'm showing you guys a plan of Villa Maria, and I want you to see where the staircase is located vis-a-vis the rest of the house. The staircase almost in this case is at the sort of corner fulcrum of the overall plan. Yeah, this is the entrance to Villa Maria over here. Okay, this is the back entrance to the service, and there is a there's a small swimming pool and a green space on this side. The staircase forms the kind of central location and a very important visual kind of a element in the overall design of this house. Okay, in another house, Alvar Aalto also has made a very different kind of a staircase, almost like a ladder, with much wider treads. Yeah, but its behavior is like a ladder. It's almost like you're climbing into an attic. This is made with wood. The earlier one was made, this is a metal staircase. If you look at it carefully, these are metal stringers that come down. Okay, this step itself is created in plywood and cladded with wood. So each step is actually a triangular block, which is built separately, as you can see in this little section over here. Each of them is a triangular block like this, and then it is mounted onto the stringer beams separately.
Shirish?
Yeah.
Instead of pointing at the cursor, can you just switch your pointer on? It's in the presentation options that come when you move your cursor. Down there, pointer.
Wait. Oh, very nice. Thanks so much. Okay, now I've clicked the pointer, right?
Now there's a red dot.
Yeah, can you see? Thanks so much. Amazing. Okay, so now you can see that there is a stringer beam that runs, you see over here, from the ground, and it runs up like this, and then it turns and goes into the back of the wall over here, right? And each of these steps is actually a triangular sort of block which is created. It's created with plywood and cladded with wood, and then it has, as you can see, a carpet lining to it. Okay, you guys can, I've shared a link in the sources over here. You guys can go there and see further more details of those staircases as well. Okay, so we have seen now 3 staircases. In all the 3 staircases, there are fundamentally 3 different processes in which the staircase is put together. Okay, right, here's another one. This is also by Carlos Scarpa. The staircase is very simple. It's a metal plate which is folded, yeah, and at the base the fold comes down and it anchors into the wall, and as you go up, the metal plate comes all the way down, hanging, and then turns and folds and is anchored into the wall with 2 bolts. The wall, as you see, is much deeper, so you can have deeper bolts going into the wall, and the staircase does not require anything else. It has sufficient thickness. The metal plate is sufficiently thick to carry the loads of people going up and down. Yeah, this is a hanging staircase, or rather one side hanging staircase. This is a house called the Penfield House, I think. I'll put the exact references in the slide presentation when I'm uploading it. Okay, this is a Penfield House by Frank Lloyd Wright, and again, it is a hanging staircase. One of the sides is actually anchored onto the wall and onto the frames of the windows that come down over here, whereas the other side, as you can see, is hung from the beam above. Yeah, the entire staircase Then the treads or the actual steps are made in wood, okay, and they will have holes, and you have metal rods, and you have screws that close the ends. Very simple staircase. Notice that this staircase actually is a very narrow staircase. Again, the width of the staircase a lot of the times depends on several factors. One of them is the actual use of the staircase. In this case, the house is to be used by only 2 people. Okay, so the staircase is naturally much narrower. And because it is so narrow, you can see that there is no need for a railing. Okay, but Frank Lloyd Wright uses similar hanging staircases even in the falling water. This is the staircase that goes down, and you have a huge base over here. You sit over here and dip your legs in water. That's the idea. But if you look at it carefully, the entire staircase, actually the steps are hung. The steps are completely hung. Yeah. These, I think, are stones. If I'm not mistaken, they're stone slabs, which are actually hung. Frank Lloyd Wright uses hanging staircases in domestic spaces very frequently. Many of his houses, you will find these kind of hanging staircases. In this case, the same hanger is actually holding 1, 2, and 3 steps. Yeah. So this is another way in which you can also hang your staircases. Sorry. Penfield House. Somebody has a question about the Penfield House. In Penfield House, how are the treads held into the wall? The treads are screwed into the wall in Penfield House also. Yeah. I don't know, somebody asked this. Even here, if you see, one side is again anchored onto the wall. Yeah. There will be, into the wall, there will be a metal plate which is screwed on, and then this entire tread actually fits onto that. Okay, I'm coming back to this image because there's a very interesting staircase in this house, and especially for the kind of location of the staircase. This is the Eschrick house. We've already seen it. I just want you to actually notice that the staircase in this case forms the central core of the house. Actually, this entire central part is seen as a circulatory space, and this is Kahn's kind of signature way of separating the services on one side, and then a living space, which is a private living space on one side, separated by a circulation space in between, and then a public space on the other side. Yeah, but the staircase itself, yeah, that's the staircase, single flight, just going up. The staircase itself is a timber staircase, okay, but it is encased. He doesn't show you the staircase. He closes it completely with a wooden panel. If there are any questions, you can ask. I'm not able to follow the how can you use. There are many ways. Yeah, okay. Mamta, you can ask me also, and we can discuss, or we can take the questions a little later.
Let's take the questions at the end, I think.
Okay, fine. Yeah, but what I'm intending to show over here is that the architect has chosen not to disclose the staircase, unlike in case of Frank Lloyd Wright, where the staircase is always shown as this kind of celebratory element. In Kahn's work, you find that the staircases are actually because that's the way in which he's thinking. That staircase is actually a circulatory kind of a function, much more kind of personal and things like that. But what is interesting here is the way he imagines the entire kind of a sort of railing also. He does not give you a railing. He actually gives you a wall. Yeah. Internally, okay, there is a handrail, obviously, because you require a handrail. This is a wooden handrail. You require a handrail as the first kind of support when you're going up and down the staircase. Okay, I'm going to show you the construction of one staircase, which we did in a house. I had shown you this house earlier, and I'm going to sort of take you through the basic kind of things that happened in constructing this particular staircase. As you can see, we have a wall on one side, and we don't have anything on the other side, actually. Okay, but our structural analysis showed that there was actually there's a beam above over here. Similarly, there's a beam and a wall at the bottom over here. Okay, so what we decided is to actually use a wall, construct a wall, a half wall rather, to support the steps on one side, and the other steps are actually anchored onto the wall on the other side. How is that done? Okay, so after doing a detailed calculation of the rises and treads and the ratios, we were able to actually create, this is actually a 9.5-inch wall. So we were actually able to dig into the wall in order to create the anchors. Yeah. And what you see, the treads and the risers are all precast RCC elements. They were all precast separately. Yeah, so these are your steps, and these are the risers. Okay, and each of them, as the wall is being constructed, each of them is laid on top of the wall on one side and into the wall on the other side, as you can see. Okay, so this is how the basic staircase then climbs up. As you start going up, the wall is constructed simultaneously on this side. If you go back to the earlier image, see the wall is not here. As you are building this, the wall is also being constructed on this side. Okay, so then this staircase is ready. A part of the staircase is ready. You can see the precast elements and you can see the entire wall being constructed. Yeah. And then comes the next stage, which is actually layering the stone itself as the main step. And again over here, it's a two-part process. One is the step and the other is the riser. Notice that the step, what we intended is to have a certain kind of a thickness. Okay, but because there is already sufficient support at the back, that thickness is only shown in the front. It's not in the entire stone. Yeah. So this stone is actually double layer stone over here. This is Jaisalmer stone, which is sandwiched and put. And then each of the step is laid. Some steps were protruding out and they went back in. That's just a design element. The first step is much wider, and then these walls were then built up. This was to avoid constructing any kind of a sort of railing or a direct barrier on one end. Yeah, so this is how the staircase looked once the plaster work and everything was done. And this is how the staircase looks when you finish off your plastering and things like that. And the railing over here is a single wooden piece railing, but the railing is attached to the wall with a metal there are metal couplings, 1, 2, 3, and 4 metal couplings. You can notice them over here, which are actually inserted inside the wall, and they are bolted inside the wall, and they come out, and there's a single metal strip that runs below this wooden railing, yeah, which is fabricated separately. And then the carpenter has sort of created this railing and put it on top of that fabricated metal railing. Yeah. Little later on, as you can see over here, the corners of the stair are chipping over here. Little later on, we have added a wooden sort of top over here. But there are staircases that need not necessarily follow कि एक ही material में बनाना है ज़रूरी है. Okay, this is the work of Hermann Hertzberger. In Hermann Hertzberger's work, you will find staircases play a very important role. He treats the steps as social spaces, but he also wants them as transportation spaces. Okay, and he changes the materiality of staircase as you go along. So for example, this is an entirely metal prefabricated staircase, which is just brought and put over here. Okay, whereas these are all constructed on site. Yeah, and this is an RCC staircase. Okay, but what he wants to do in the process is to actually create social spaces using steps and staircases. Hermann Hertzberger has designed many schools, and one of the most fundamental components in all his schools is actually steps and stairs. He believes that these are steps and stairs is where real interaction with kids and real learning actually happens between communities. Yeah, so he designs very different kinds of ways. This is again one of the schools that he has designed. On the outside, you will find that these are RCC built up stairs till this point. Okay, and then from here onwards, the entire metal staircase actually cantilevers is anchored onto the RCC beam. As you can see, this is directly bolted into the RCC beam. Cantilevers out with these members, and then the whole staircase is built. This is another very interesting staircase. This is, I think, Ainsley in one of his projects had built this kind of a winding RCC staircase, single element that winds around, yeah, to create a very interesting dynamic kind of a space. And this is, I think, the way in which that whole the formwork of the staircase and the kind of reinforcements are actually laid. So if you look at the side over here, okay, the side is almost behaving like a beam. So this and this is also another beam. It's twisting. The whole beam is twisting. It is taking the forces in this are actually two kinds. They are. It's like a beam and a column. Yeah? I think Neeraj will be able to really explain you how the forces in those beams in those staircase sides will actually work. Here's another staircase made by an architect. I think this is in Nasik. Mamta, you know who this is? The architect. I forget his name. This house is built maybe a few years back. Who? You remember?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah. So the staircase actually. Sorry, my pointer is suddenly disappeared. Just hold on. Wait a second. Okay, I'll go back. Yeah. So when the architect was making, he imagined that the staircase to be a folded kind of a plate, yeah, and he anchored it. Okay. The beam below was added later because the staircase wouldn't actually stay. The beam is a later addition, is what I was told. Yeah. Nonetheless, it's a very interesting staircase. Of course, please remember in this case. Issues of safety and things like that are obviously there, but the imagination is that this is actually going to be used by elder people and not by children. Okay, one of the things that we need to remember when we are making spaces is that if there are younger children who are involved, the safety of the staircase becomes a very critical component. Children and elderly, these are the two very important factors when designing staircases. This is a very interesting project by Lucien Kroll. And in his work, the staircase actually takes on a very different turn. This is actually a housing project for medical kind of a facility, on-campus medical housing situation. In Kroll's case, the staircases are of two kinds. One is those that are external and those that are internal. Okay, and external staircases, he believed that can actually give you access to your own floor from any point from outside. Okay, and so he builds series of steps that take you from one floor to the other and that connect this guy to ground directly. Okay, very interesting ways in which staircases are thought of. In the same house that we were designing, we had also built a staircase that goes up to the roof, but it was designed very differently. It is a metal staircase in which the entire sort of step is actually a granite step which is placed onto a metal framework. Yeah. So another very interesting way of building a staircase. In this case, of course, the railing and things like that play a very important role. But remember, this is a staircase that is used for services. This is another staircase that we designed in a very small clinic in Lal Bagh Parel. Actually, there was an existing staircase right here in metal. Yeah. So inside of this is actually a metal staircase. Okay. But the entire outside is actually now in timber and polish, okay, including the handrail. Yeah. So there are different things that you can do with staircase and material. Here's a concrete staircase, okay, but see the way it works. Okay, there's no beam at this point. The staircase, each flight is supported from this end to this end, yeah, and this flight is supported from this end to directly into the wall. So the wall actually has the wall and the connection to the staircase is actually a rigid connection over here. Yeah. Okay, this is another staircase which I find very interesting. This is, I think, Manoj Parmar has designed in one of one of the houses that he was designing, where the entire step is actually cantilevering out from the wall. Okay, Mamta, these are precast, right? These steps, if I'm not wrong, these are precast steps.
No, they're
hello?
precast.
Oh, they are not precast; they are in situ. I
Yeah.
see. So they are in situ, which means the reinforcements from here
Yes,
are actually going inside the wall and tying inside the wall.
yes.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, this is another way in which you can also think of staircases. Of course, remember there is a certain there's a certain minimum thickness which will be required if it is going to be an RCC kind of a slab, and you can't go lesser than that because you will have reinforcements and you will have cover on both sides. Generally, that minimum is 800 is 80 mm, so 8 centimeters.
I
Okay.
think there was like staircase-like thing happening there in RCC,
Yeah.
which is helping the steps to be cantilevered.
Yeah. This was another staircase that we had done in, and this is in Tangshalni Haveli. The photographs are not very clear, but this is in that same Haveli, the animation that you saw, where the staircase was actually a metal structure with wooden treads. Yeah. But the railing is a single piece which is actually supported by steel cables that go all the way from top to bottom. This is a staircase done by Carlos Carpa, a very interesting dog-leg staircase where the lower part actually becomes a seating area on one side, and as you climb up and you take turn, the upper part is a very different material of the flight. There's another famous Carpa staircase. I'm showing you this because these are some things that you should have seen in terms of how do you navigate tight spaces and still create interesting combinations. You all have been over here. This is a staircase at the ramp at CEPT University. Found this very interesting because this widening actually allowed you to use this space as a social kind of a condition. So you sat over here always. You rarely sat over here, okay, because people came in from here and took a turn up like this. So what it did is that this part of the staircase actually became a much more kind of a social space, whereas this remained a kind of a circulation movement kind of an area. What is interesting is how this staircase is built. At the back actually is a solid kind of a fill. Okay, so this is built on solid fill, and these steps are also actually built on solid fill. Okay, and then the bridge actually comes and lands over here. I'm showing you one more staircase in the Indian Institute of Indology. I don't know if you guys had a chance to go to the Indian Institute of Indology when you're there. Did you go there?
Yes.
Oh, you did.
Yes,
You did go there. I particularly like the staircase because of its riser and tread ratios. I think in this staircase he gave a very generous kind of a space to actually climb, and it's a very comfortable staircase to climb. Notice the way the entire railing also is, right? So there are these rods that come up, okay, which then hold the entire timber, okay, and that entire part becomes a railing. He doesn't give a hand rail as a set, just a rail. He gives an entire element with timber. Yeah. Okay, I'm just showing you a section of that staircase. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some kind of technical sort of elements to consider when you think about staircases. Okay, so here's a very interesting diagram. This is from Building Construction Illustrated by Francis D.K. Ching. I'll upload the entire book on the files also. Okay, so what he's done is he's given us a very interesting kind of a graph to identify where each lies. So this is ramp. This is ramp, and he says that the ramp should maximum be at 1:12 slope. Anything more than that, it is difficult as a ramp. Okay. Then he gives us stairs. Okay, and he puts stairs between this line and between this line. Okay, so this is your range. These are the slope ranges for your stairs. And the third one is the ladder. Okay. Yeah, this is a step ladder, and then this is a straight ladder where you can directly climb vertically. Okay, so I find this graph a very useful graph. He says building codes will regulate, but he has given you a kind of a what do you say, a calculation. He says a tread in inches plus two risers in inches should be around 24 to 25, and a riser inches and tread inches should multiplied by tread inches should be between 72 to 75 for a stair. Okay, you guys can, when you are calculating your staircases, you can use this as a thumb rule to actually arrive at suitable kind of staircase comforts. Okay, just to give you an outline, I think you must be already knowing that this is called the riser and this is called the tread and this is called the nosing, which is the difference between the protrusion outside is called the nosing. You can do the nosing in different ways. You can actually fold it, you can protrude it. Only the stair element can come out also as a nosing. Yeah. Yeah. And then there are different ways in which, and we are now only looking at RCC staircases. You have a straight flight, you have a quarter flight, so that bends and then turns, and then you have what is called a half flight or a dog-legged staircase. Please notice that whenever you are putting or drawing a staircase, remember this line. Yeah. It's very crucial to remember this line, because what this line does, it decides whether your soffit at the base over here, which means your line with your waist slab is also going to meet at one point, or is the waist slab also going to offset. If you want the waist slab to not offset, then you're going to get a situation where you have to move one step towards this side before you start climbing the slab. You will notice this when you actually draw a section of the staircase with the waist slab. Yeah, and then he has given us some kind of thumb rules which are also very useful. The waist slab, which is below, a thumb rule is that it should be span divided by 26, and the span of the staircase in this case is from this point to this point, because there is no beam over here or there's no support over here. If there was a support at this point, the span would be lesser. Okay, and I'll show you what are the different conditions of supports for RCC staircases. Okay, so fundamentally in RCC staircase there can be three kinds, and we have seen all these three kinds. One is a staircase which has a waist slab, and then you have your entire kind of a step which is constructed above. That can be made in brick or it can be made in concrete, that depends. Okay, the second is a step which is a folded step, which we saw in the Milonas. Yeah. And the third is a step where each step, and this is called an open staircase, so these sides remain open. Each of these steps are actually independent steps, and they can be supported either by walls on two sides or they can be hung, and we've seen some examples of that also. Here are the many conditions of end supports. Okay, so in this case, like you saw in the earlier diagram that Ching had made, your support are actually on the two ends. Okay, but they are not rigid supports. Okay, whereas there was a staircase we saw earlier where the supports were rigid supports. This is another case. The third case is where the support is over here and this end is set free and this end is set free, which means that this much part actually is cantilevering out. Yeah, and then these are the alternate conditions for these staircases. Okay, Mamta, this you want to take next time?
Yeah, Shirish, we can do it next time. We can take questions.
We can take questions.
I
Yeah.
have slightly larger details of the reinforcement. Hello. Yeah, so questions, anyone?
So when we are talking about staircases as social spaces, like usually
Hi.
they're widened like an amphitheater to make them a social space, right? Like some sort of widening is usually done, right? Because when you look at these singular kind of linear staircases which are usually used for traversing, you don't really see them used as social spaces much.
Sorry, Shravan, I missed that.
Yeah, Shravan, I think there's too much disturbance. Maybe you could type out your question.
Shirish, I had a doubt about the previous class.
Okay.
So like a lot of we are confused about the openable section thing. Like what is the difference between a regular section and an openable section?
Are you referring to the fenestrations that we were looking at?
Yeah, the fenestrations. Yeah.
An openable section is a part which you can open the entire window. And a fixed section is where there's glazing, there's fenestration, but you're not able to open it.
Okay, so the like
So
the
that
cut.
means, yeah, the hinged portion
The
is
hinge.
thing.
Yeah.
There's no hinge there.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Correct. So that, yeah, so that's the difference in the detail that you will observe. So if you remember in the wooden section also we showed you that there was place for accommodation of that hinge in the openable portion. And the other portions were fixed, but there were those tiny holes you had as deep holes and places where the frost could melt and the water could come out. But otherwise, you have very specific arrangements made for the hinges. While when it is fixed, the entire pane is completely fixed. There's no place for a hinge. So that's the difference.
Okay.
So that means a
And
rebate. When you look at rebate as a member, that difference you will find over there, because in the rebate, then you don't need to have the frame of the pane to be able to move around that rebate. That's
yeah,
the difference.
got
Okay.
it. So these will be like mostly in the sliding windows and all, right?
So Shravan has asked a question saying how exactly did staircases come to be social spaces, because it seems like a very impractical place to like stay for a while. Okay, Shravan, you went to Ahmedabad, right? And did you go to the Adalaj Wow, the stepwells at Adalaj?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, if you think about the stepwells at Adalaj, what I find very interesting is that it takes the idea of reaching to water, okay, and it turns it into a very celebratory kind of a space, right? Okay. But it uses two things. It uses the steps and it uses the kind of what do you say? The kind of uh, the kind of what are those, the kind of balcony spaces. These are the two kinds of spaces that it uses to make it into a celebratory social space. Okay, I think staircases or steps have been used as social spaces much before. If you think of the ghats, okay, a ghat is a series of actually steps, but the ghat becomes a very important performative space, a ritual space, and a social space in that sense. Okay, so in my opinion, staircases have always had this aspect of being social spaces. It is in the kind of conventional way where we have turned the staircase only into a kind of functional use of transporting people up and down. Okay, uh, I think that comes a little later. Otherwise, if you look at the pole house in Ahmedabad, there is no staircase. There is always a ladder stair in a pole house. Okay, so you wouldn't afford so much space to go up and down. You created an innovation which was like a ladder staircase, and then you use that to go up and down. So I find that staircase as only to go up and down is a later invention. But steps and staircases have always been actually used as social spaces. That's
So
my
even
that's my
Yeah, in ancient theaters, the kind of
Yeah, like
auditoriums, or the Greek theater, etc. You had steps, right? Yeah.
so I think staircases have always been social spaces. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Could you please go back to that image
Yes.
of Nashik staircase with the folded plate kind of staircase where you said the stringer beam was added later? I don't understand how it would have been there without the stringer beam.
Yeah. Just hold on.
So next class we will be discussing the structural sort of details of the set.
Do that, but let me show you what happened. Let me show you what happened in that case. I'll just share my screen.
I also maybe I'll upload the presentation today itself, so they can even take a look at it before we do the class.
Yeah. Okay, can you guys see?
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, can you guys see now? Okay, so if you this is the story, right? The architect builds.
It's not visible yet.
Okay, I will wait.
What about the rest of the class in the meanwhile? Are you guys able to understand? Are you following what's happening in the class? Behla, how about you? Are you able to follow?
Is my screen visible now?
Not yet, Shirish.
Wow, this is really slow today. Huh? Anyways.
Nandika, Neha, Shivali, Harshad. I'm just calling out names, okay, randomly to see if you guys are following. Mohit. सबको समझ में आ रहा है? Sham,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
is
we are
Sham
following.
today? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, can you guys see my screen now or not yet?
No, not
No,
yet.
not yet. Sorry.
Why is this happening?
Shirish,
Okay.
copy paste and
I'm
put it into
copying
the
it.
chat.
Yeah, I'll just copy it here. Control C. And I'll just go here and I'll say Control V. Okay. Sending it on the chat now. Aya, can you see it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you see, the story is that when the architect actually constructed the staircase, okay, he wanted a clear soffit below. Okay, he didn't actually want to put a beam below. The staircase stood by itself quite successfully. Okay, it would also transport people up and down. But over a period of time, with the dead weight of the metal, the staircase was showing deflection. Yeah, and that is the reason why he had to introduce a stringer at the base. Can you see it? Ambika, are you able to see?
Yep. So before the stringer came in, it was just anchored, like we can see.
Yeah, it was anchored. Yeah, exactly. So you have a metal kind of a landing plate over here, which is anchored into the wall, and you had on the opposite side, you had another kind of an anchor to which the plate was anchored. And if you see carefully, the whole thing is welded and folded. Yeah. The problem is that the dead weight of the staircase became so heavy that they had to actually then insert they had to insert a member. So as people would start walking up and down, they could realize that there was vibration, okay, which was a little scary, and B, the dead load was much heavier. So anyways, I mean, he was quite open about it in saying that then we had to add this member below.
So even flying staircases have that issue where you have to make sure that they're bolted or fixed into the wall.
Yeah, so they have to have rigid ends. That's one, and they have to take into account vibrations.
Okay, got it.
So you will have vibrations also in flying staircases. You feel that even when you are climbing up hanging staircases sometimes. Yeah. So hanging staircases where the hangers get anchored to the ground are more stable, obviously.
Right, got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, the other thing which I want you guys to also do is when you look at the presentations, in every presentation, we are adding the references and the links in them. Okay, it will be worthwhile for you guys to actually check out those links and those references because they give a lot of added information about the. See, we are only bringing an image to construct a point about staircases over here. But if you find Lucian Kroll's work interesting, okay, then when you go to some of the links over there, you will find much more sort of information on his work in general. Yeah, it's sometimes important to understand the overall work in order to understand why certain elements are the way they are. But these staircases seem dangerous even for adults. Yeah, Vaishnavi, I agree. To some degree, I agree. Yeah, without the support and things like that, it is a little dangerous. Remember, when you are designing for elderly, especially, and for children, safety becomes a very important factor. And there are certain things that you cannot actually do in terms of like safe kind of movement. And staircases are actually elements of where accidents can happen very easily. So you will not design staircases like this, which are unsafe. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Mamta, is that okay?
Yeah, this is okay.
This is
because
okay.
We can't get into the
We can't get
detailed
into this
lecture that's gone for an hour. Yeah, that won't make sense.
Yeah, so we'll do it next time.
Yeah.
Okay, the other thing is that we want to ask you also is that if generally this is the pace of the class, is that okay with you? Because what it means is that we are taking a little more time in terms of the classes. Is that all right?
Yes, works fine.
Okay, so now here's a small exercise for you. Okay, each of you, again, like last time you made a sketch, this time you will make a sketch of a staircase in your building. Okay, but I want you guys to focus on three things. I want you guys to measure the riser and tread, measure the nosing, okay, measure the width of the staircase, measure the height of the handrail, height meaning from the step to where the handrail is, that height of the handrail. Yeah, and I want you to actually make a sketch of the junctions where the staircase meets the beam at the base and on the top. Shall I type these things in the window?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Width of the stair, riser, tread, nosing if any. Yeah. Height of the handrail from the step. Yeah. These are the things that you have to measure. Okay. Floor to floor height and number of steps. Okay, very simple exercise. I will not require you more than half an hour. And then sketch out the junction additions at the base and at the top of one flight of stairs. Yeah, so you make a sketch on one page and there itself you add all the details. Also, if it is a multi-story staircase, then only notice top floor. No, any floor. Any floor. You can notice the ground and first floor.
No, Suresh, I was saying if it is multi-story, then also notice top floor ka and ground floor if they can find
Achha,
anything
like that.
different. Yeah,
Okay, fair enough. Then you also look at the ground floor and the top floor.
Yeah, if they find anything different.
If you find anything.
I don't know.
Yeah. So what we are trying, I have a silly question. When we are going through the PPT, especially last time, how much should we sketch in the sketchbook that it is?
सच्ची टेस्ट ले लेके पी रहा हूँ देख लो
Okay, can we turn off our mic, please? Okay, Fleur, there is no limit because I started sketching everything. Yeah, it took forever. Okay, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you decide you want to spend an hour. That's also fine. Sketching hour should be more than enough. If you're taking longer than that, then it's okay. Good, you have sketched it. You already have the information. It will be useful later on. That much I guarantee you. Yeah. No, I'm not getting an answer.
Sorry, my mic doesn't work very well.
Okay. Okay, anything else?
I cannot see the assignment for today's submission in the assignments tab.
I thought it was already created.
It's not in assignments, it's in files. Mamta's
Files.
created a file.
Okay.
Okay, very simple assignment for you guys from this class.
I had a doubt regarding the assignment.
Yeah.
I've written something now.
Bol.
Yeah, so my house like has those commercial windows which are made of aluminum. So how do I start their section? Because the elements here are not similar to those which we are
No, you draw what you see.
Okay.
Style, you draw what you see. Look, let me tell you one more thing about this learning process. Okay, it is not possible for us to show you everything, correct? That is the reason why we are asking you to also look at your own homes, because the kind of details that each of your own homes has is actually going to be sometimes very different. Okay, but we want to actually understand what of those details are good and what of those details are not good also. Yeah. So you will have to, you draw what you see, and then the whole idea of a construction course is to start thinking analytically about construction and what are some of the challenges in terms of, like, for example, the question about fluttering chhajja. Okay. I find that a very important discussion, because at some point of time, if you are going to extend out a metal chhajja and if you're not going to anchor it well, yeah, you're going to have this problem. And it's going to allow water to come into your fenestrations and things like that. And that's something which, as architects, we have to consider. So whatever the opening is, however it is, you draw what you see. Yeah.
Thank you.
The same goes for the staircase exercise also. If you have two different kinds of staircases in your building, you pick one. We are okay with it. Shravan, you've shared an image. Just hold on. You can't see it yet.
Should I stop recording? Otherwise, the
Yeah,
file
let's stop.
size really
Let's-
goes very high, and then they
Let's
can't
stop.
download it.
Shravan, for some reason, I don't know, I'm not able to see that image.
Like it's not clear, or like the file is not opening.
No, it's not opening only. I think
Oh.
it's a problem with the link. I'm not wrong. I can't seem to open it. What was it? What are you sharing?
Oh, the chhaja, just as you mentioned the chhaja, like it hit at the center also, I think. So, like it's hit at a few joints now.
Oh, so that much part is already open.
It's got like a checkerboard thing, and I can notice like 1, 2, 3, 4 joints where it could have been attached, but it's not anymore.
Yeah, if you let it be like this, then and if the winds continue, it's going to rip out the whole chhaja. It's going to rip it out if the winds continue.
Okay, so hopefully when the winds stop a bit, I can like tie it down or something, because there are some.
How will you tie it?
It's got holes from like the seaside. It's near the sea, so it's got holes from like just rust and everything. So I can like put a rope or something through that and like at least tie it to the actual steel of the ring.
You will have to be very careful, huh?
Yeah, I'll have to plan somehow, because otherwise it's gonna fly off. Hello?
Be extremely careful when you. Okay.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do about this. So then, yeah, because most of the come to fix it.
Like a face or something.
That's Shravan. That's Shravan's mic. Okay. All right. Is the staircase little exercise clear for everyone? Yeah. Okay. Another very important thing is I think from next week onwards, your IDS Studio is starting. Yeah. So you will get an entire sort of overview of how the integrated design studio is connected to the entire sort of lecture sessions that are happening as well. So hopefully you will find a clarity on what exercises you are doing, what all things are going to happen. And I can only say that all your sketchbooks and all the drawings that you make are also going to be looked at, and they will also get you some kind of grades. Yeah. Correct, Mamta? Am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Under the window detail folder.
Create the folder under 5, so they can just upload it there.
So we'll create one more folder with the
staircase.
Staircase sketches. Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure that you follow Shirish. You've explained the nomenclature, right? So we can sort it out.
Typed in everything.
Okay.
I've typed in everything. All you do is you make a sketch, and on that sketch itself you give the annotated details of all the things that I asked for: width of the staircase, riser, tread, etc., etc. Okay.
So I'll be putting up this PPT with the details already, even before the lecture, so that they can even refer to it, and they'll understand then how they should be sort of.
Okay. And what I will do is I'll put up this PPT. I'll add the remaining reference links. I think some links are still missing in this PPT. Yeah. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you guys don't have any more questions, shall we say bye? Okay. Bye.
Yes,
Bye.
we are done here. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.